For more on what was announced today, our correspondent Lee Soo-jin is joining us in the studio. Soo-jin, other than the corporate support plan that we just saw, what does the government say when it comes to its most recent projections about the economy?
In short, it's quite positive across the board. The government releases its economic policy direction based on revised economic projections for economic growth, inflation, employment, and current account balance. On Wednesday, the finance ministry announced economic policy direction for the latter half of the year, where it revised its economic growth projection for 2024 from 2.2% to 2.6%. This upward revision was mostly due to a strong growth forecast for exports, thanks to an increased demand for AI as well as semiconductors. And the inflation rate is expected to ease to 2.6%. This comes as data from Statistics Korea on Tuesday showed that the country's consumer price index, a key gauge of inflation, rose by 2.4% in June compared to the same month the year before. This is the lowest figure seen in 11 months, inching closer to the target inflation at 2%. As for employment, the government projects that as the economy shows signs of recovery, it will go up by more than 60% on year. And this year, South Korea is expected to see a current account surplus of $63 billion as exports continue to recover. Let's take a listen to what the president said about this current state of the economy.
이렇게 성장률을 비롯한 거시 지표는 눈에 띄게 개선되고 있습니다만 아직 그 온기가 민생 경제의 활력으로 이어지지 않아 안타까운 마음이 있습니다. 효과가 나타나는 시차를 줄이면서 민생의 구조적, 근본적 문제를 해결해 나가야 합니다.
Well, despite the positive outlook, there are still concerns. What are other focuses?
Well, this time the focus is on vulnerable groups. The government said that while the newly revised projections for the second half are promising, vulnerable groups have yet to feel that the economy is actually getting better. Here's what the finance minister said on this.
But because the recovery speed varies across sectors due to high inflation and interest rates, small business owners still feel that the economy is struggling.
To help small business owners, the government will spend 25 trillion won, or nearly 18 billion US dollars, to provide financial support, business growth, and recovery opportunities, as well as a one-stop platform that allows them to more easily access necessary information. This includes an extension of government loan maturity, which, according to an expert, will prove to be the most helpful. Let's take a listen.
I think the most effective way is postponing interest rate payment to banks. In terms of the moral hazard problem, it is very difficult to decrease size of the money that borrowed from the banks. But instead, there is small room for banks and for medium and small-sized companies to delay their interest rate payment.
And the government plans to raise the upper annual revenue limit for businesses to receive electricity bill subsidies from around $21,000 to around $43,000. The government will also help small business owners expand digitally to accelerate their growth. By the end of this year, there will be nearly 60 traditional markets where products are also available online. As for measures to help business owners get back on their feet, it plans to offer monetary incentives each month for small business owners that were forced to close to attend reemployment programs or to start new businesses. Lastly, it plans to create a one-stop platform where small business owners can find important information regarding their finances, employment, and businesses in one place, with the finalized version to be in operation by January next year.
Soo-jin, are there any measures directed towards maintaining the trend of getting prices under control?
So the government plans to remain vigilant, as you can tell by the amount it's planned to spend to stabilize prices. The support measures to get prices under control in the second half of the year amount to $4 billion. This includes implementing tariff quota rates for 51 items, such as vegetables and fruits, which will allow for lower tariff rates on imports of products within a certain quantity, as well as expanding contract farming of fruits and developing more kim farms. Here's why these continued efforts to tame inflation are necessary.
the general citizens in Korea do not feel that the economy is getting better these days because inflation is higher than that of their wage increases. But as the inflation is stabilizing by end of this year, I think Korean people will see that the economic situation gets better. The prices of the agricultural products is pretty much stabilized from last month.
So with these pan-governmental efforts, people will hopefully soon be able to feel that the economy is in fact getting better and that it's not just the data.
Okay, thanks for that, Soo-jin.
Thank you for having me.